So alright, in today's video, I want to talk about the original Xbox and a miracle port I stumbled upon called Roller Coaster Tycoon. With that said, Roller Coaster Tycoon shouldn't be that surprising of a port considering the original Xbox is based upon a mid-tier PC of the time, and most mid-tier PCs to low-end PCs could probably run Roller Coaster Tycoon backwards and forwards. However, where this port becomes a miracle in my opinion is the control scheme and just how fluid everything is. Now at the time the controls were labeled as clunky, however I beg to differ. I've played OpenRCT 2 on the Switch and it took me a while to get used to the controls there, and if you ever play that port I highly recommend just using mission control and pairing up a Bluetooth controller, or just using a Switch Pro controller. Besides that, on the original Xbox the control scheme is pretty simple. X to open up your hiring menu, check your park funds, pull out a loan, etc., check your objectives, and B for, well, build. As you can tell by some of the gameplay, this game heavily utilizes radial menus, and you'd think that'd be bad, however it is not. One thing I did notice when doing research to this that I haven't tried, however, is you actually have a magnifying glass in this game, not just a mouse pointer. So if you left click your thumbstick in, you can apparently zoom in even further than you could in the base game. I'll have to try that out later. But with that said, this game performs outstanding. You get a fully locked frame rate for the most part. I heard later levels can get a bit laggy if you move the camera around like a maniac, but for the most part, this game is highly serviceable, comes with both DLCs, and is a complete package. There is one flaw with this game I'd like to mention, and that has to do with the audio. I've seen one reviewer talking about this, and they are right. If you hover over one park ride long enough, its theme and track music will play, but if you quickly hop to another ride really fast, the music doesn't gracefully fall off and fade away, it just hard switches sometimes, which can be a bit jarring. But for the most part, I can look over this fact and enjoy the game. It's not too distracting, but once you notice it, you can kinda notice it. Besides that, you have a loading and saving menu that looks really reminiscent of a computer desktop for some reason, but it does indeed work. You also have a in-game keyboard, so if you wanted to joke around, rename your rides, rename your park, or make some banners, you can easily do that as well. And since this is just a straight up port of RCT, all the RCT glitches you've come to know and love will actually work in the Xbox port. Everything from ramping up the powered launches to making the roller coasters fly off the tracks is there. You can even make a death monorail, which is one of my favorite things to do, as well as trapping the guest in the park using the monorail mechanic. One thing I tried to do and I couldn't get to work was make a infinite roller coaster. I don't know if this is patched in a specific build or if I just did it wrong. It's been a while since I built this design, but I tried to make an infinite roller coaster that the guest gets stuck on once they enter. Either they thought about this and removed this glitch, or I'm just doing it wrong. I'm not 100% certain, but feel free to try it out and let me know if you managed to get this to work. But with that said, for most of this video, you've probably seen emulated gameplay just so I could capture it, so don't expect the quality to look exactly like the video you saw. Here is some B-roll of me actually playing this on the original Xbox if I haven't shown it already. As you can see, this indeed does work, and it works great. Now I mostly played this game using the OGX 360, it's a Bluetooth adapter for the original Xbox. I built this and 3D printed it a while ago, and it's been great with this game. If you're wondering, the original remote also works really well in this game, but I do get why some of the controller gripe might have came into play, just because of how they had the buttons laid out on the Duke, as well as the thumbsticks not being as precise as, something like a modern day Xbox remote. I highly recommend if you haven't made something like this Bluetooth adapter to either make one or pick one up, they're highly worth it. But yeah, as you can see in the gameplay, I primarily played using this, and it plays great. I changed everything from lift speeds to, the roller coaster stats, and I never really felt like the cursor was drifting anywhere I didn't want it to. Closing menus can be done, in my case, using the left and right bumpers, which are mapped to the white and black buttons. I forget which one closes a menu and which one opens or does whatever else. It's not that hard to understand though. Just know when you click on one of them buttons, you can delete pathing, trees, etc. So be sure you're really hovering over the menu as you close it. or you might accidentally delete something in your park you didn't want to. I've done this a few times with pathing, although I don't think you can delete a roller coaster using that method, so don't worry. But yeah, with that said, that's pretty much it for this video. If you haven't picked this up, I recommend picking it up. I'm gonna pick it up after this video because I only have a version of it I found online. I only downloaded this thinking it was homebrew, and I didn't know it was an actual release, so I'm definitely gonna get this game online and add it to my collection. But with that said, I'm gonna leave the video off here now. DTPK signing off. Peace. So that it would make a new file and not overwrite your old file. I did this so that you could preserve the integrity. It's pretty much a snap fit. All you have to do is solder everything to the board, put the board